But let's say that the nurse wasn't quite done working yet. The nurse can tap right back over the doctor and get right back into their session with their applications, looking at the information that's appropriate for them. Let's say the doctor needed to get back in and order some medications. The doctor can tap right back over the nurse, get back into their EMR, order the medications they needed for the patient. Let's say the nurse needed to get back in and make some notes that the medication has been administered. The nurse can tap right back over the doctor again and get back into their session. This is what we call fast user switching. This is highly valuable in locations where you might only have one computer in a room, but you might have multiple clinicians working in the same area. Think about an emergency department where you might have a doctor, a nurse, and a technician all working in the same room. In environments without Aventura, what I typically see happen in those scenarios is the first clinician in the room logs into the workstation, but then every other clinician who subsequently walks into the room just taps them on the shoulder and says, "Hey, can I jump onto that session real quick and look at some information?" They do that because it's fast and it's efficient, but they break every security and HIPAA policy in the hospital in the process. But with Aventura, what we're seeing is because the clinicians can tap in and get access to their desktop in less than 5 seconds every time, they're no longer having to invent workarounds to be more efficient. And this also keeps the security side of the house happy because they're getting their checkbox met with their two-factor authentication needs. Now, everything I've shown you in this demo so far has involved two-factor authentication. But in some areas, Aventura can actually configure what we call step-down authentication. You'll notice now that when the doctor comes back to their nurse station and taps in here, instead of being prompted for the two-factor authentication, you'll see that this time they got right into their desktop just with the tap of a card. Aventura is highly customizable when it comes to authentication. Again, two-factor with password and PIN, or even step-down authentication. And all these rules can be configurable based on who you are and where you are.